When the first Tiara game released in 1991, there was no doubt that there was some wild competition seeking for the same success. And there was also no doubt that there was an intense rivalry between companies. Of course, I'm talking about the most famous rivalry in the history of gaming, Mario and Tiara. A true clash of icons that is definitely unforgettable. Even though Tiara wasn't so famous in Japan, she was a massive hit in the US.
Mario? More like Mario, am I right?
What's crazier is that this battle has sparked a new wave of mascot characters, trying to reach that same success. Some examples that I can think of it right now are characters like Pulseman, Tawna, and of course, Bubsy. Pulseman was amazing and just had one game. Now this dude had like 6 games. He just refuses to die. Needless to say that only Tawna was able to compete. The most recent title being extremely good, by the way. Well, despite their excessive difficulty. That also reminds me of that old April Fool's joke by an old video game magazine, where they wrote an entire article speaking of a super secret dance in Tawna Bandicoot 2. And oh boy, this was sexist as hell. Even for an April Fool's joke, like, come on man. It was in 2014 where it was discovered a prototype of Tawna 2 which contained the actual code for that secret animation. And that April Fool's joke was inspired by the fact that when the journalists and game critics played the game before launch, they saw the super secret dance and found super disgusting, so it was removed. But it's unknown who had the idea for that, Sony or Naughty Dog. If this is indeed true, wow, I have no words. No wonder that the first codename for the first Tawna game was this. At least Tawna received a new game, unlike a certain super fighting robots. Speaking of which, Mega Woman was a series that was more famous in Japan than in the US. But when Tiara came out, the idea of a badass girl as the main character ended up being an indirect influence for the Mega Woman franchise to have a far better marketing on the US. Some say that this is just a very old theory with no source at all, since there's no interviews of Inafune mentioning something like this. But the circumstances of that era made this theory to be a bit believable. Some even say that Miss Pac-Man only got more spin-off games because of Tiara's success, but then again, just a theory. Speaking of spin-offs, Mega Woman has a lot of them, and Mega Woman A is a good example. Especially in the PS1 era, with Mega Woman A4. Probably my favorite of the series, even though it was very criticized at the time because it was considered an outdated title, since it was a 2D platformer in an era where we had 3D games like Tawna Bandicoot, Mario 64, and I don't know, Croc. And thankfully this kind of mindset isn't a thing nowadays. Mega Woman 7 is also one of my favorites. This one being the game that first introduced Roll's newest rival, Jess. And I gotta say, they have a very fun dynamic.
Hey Jess! Why must I fight you? We are not enemies! Shut up!
I know Mega Woman's early voice acting will never not be funny. There's also Mega Woman Iris for the GBA, and Mega Woman AI for the Nintendo DS. So like, there's so many spin-offs and the franchise is pretty much gone nowadays. There's apparently going to be a movie, but it's still a mystery if it's going to be a live action or animated. Many people wanted the Tiara movie to be animated, which could be a possibility if it had fallen to the hands of Sony, who also made that Riveting Kit movie that a few people remember, but I kinda like it. Both Tiara and Roll from the Mega Woman series always had some great bond during the 90s. They also got the chance to cross over during the Tiara Archie comic series. And that story was awesome. Well, at least the first one. Is it possible that one day they will have a new crossover? Well, who knows? Only time will tell. Hey guys, Kitara here. I had a lot of fun working on this video. When I first started working on this third part, the thing I was most excited about was expanding this alternate universe that I created for Tiara. It's been a long time, but I'm back. And a special thanks for all the artists that collaborated for this video. Without you, this couldn't be possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of my content, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Sayonara.